Well, hello there, and welcome to Planning Center University Services Edition. My name is Aaron Stewart, and I am the co-founder here at Planning Center, and I'm also the product manager of Planning Center Services, which is going to be really helpful in teaching this class today, which I'm excited to do. So today, we're just going to be talking about half of services, and that is the worship planning part of that. That is the putting together your service order and your songs and all the things that are related to that. There is another class on services on Thursday, or you can watch the one from last time, but you should come on Thursday because it's going to be all new. But this is just on worship planning. Now, I'm doing this a little different than in the past because we want to make this great for brand new people and also for people who have maybe used it for a little while. So the first half of this class is actually going to be setting up a brand new account from scratch as a worship planner. And then halfway through the class, after we've set up an account from scratch, I'm going to show you some more intermediate and advanced things. So if you're an intermediate and advanced user and you're watching this later, you can actually use the chapter markers down below and skip ahead to later on in the session. But for right now, we're going to show you how to set up a new account from scratch. So before we even get started with that, I want to make sure that you know how you can get help. Anybody who's in Planning Center gets help for free. And within any of the Planning Center products, there is a question mark at the top right. So way up here in the top right is a question mark, and you can click that from any page. And you're going to be able to see suggested articles based on what page you're on. You're going to be able to ask a question. How do I transpose chord charts? And you'll find different lessons and articles. A lot of them even have videos that are in them that show you how to do those things. And then if you can't find an answer on your own, you can contact Planning Center support, and it tells you how soon you can expect a reply. Right now, it looks like it's 30 minutes. Our customer support team is excellent, and they will respond to you almost always within 1 business hour. And right now it happens to be 30 minutes. So you ask them a question now, they will get back to you before we're even done with this class. So take advantage of that. So just remember that Help Center is there because some of the things that I talk about today, I might say, hey, for more information on this, look up this thing in the Help Center. You can also submit your feature requests through the email there. So if there are things that services doesn't do and you want it to do it, you can email our team and let them know what those are, and we track those. And it's better to send us an email there than to put it in the live chat. If you're watching on YouTube right now, they'll just ask you to send it in as an email anyway, so you might as well just get a jump on that and go for that straight away. Speaking of YouTube, you can watch this or send it to anybody you want. It's free, as you know, to watch on YouTube, or you can also catch all of our university classes on by visiting planningcenter.com/university. Okay, so let's actually dive in. So I am here, and once again, this is going to be if you are brand new. So, and actually, let me say one more thing. If you are just trying to skip ahead in this class, the part of this that is for new people, you can see right up here at the top, I'm in PCU church. As long as I'm in PCU church, it's for new people. Eventually, I'm going to switch over to Centerville Church halfway through the class. So if you're scrubbing through and you want to see that, once you get to Centerville Church, you know that you're on the existing user section of the video. But forget that I showed you all that. We're back to a brand new account. You just signed up for services. Where do you get started? Well, our support documentation has a great getting started guide, but I'm going to walk you through it here. So you get dumped into services, and the first thing that it says is welcome to services. Before you can start planning, you need to add a service type. This is true, but since you are here to learn about a little bit more than just, because Planning Center is made for scheduling and for planning, and since you're here for the planning parts of it, we're going to do one little thing before we actually start planning. We're going to kind of get our song library set up just a little bit first. So that's the first thing. If you're in charge of songs at all, you want to jump over to the Songs tab at the top here. That's going to be your first step. Now, the reason for this is because services makes it real easy for you to get song files from other sources that you might already use. So first thing you're going to do, Songs tab. Over here at the top, instead of clicking Add a Song, there's a little gear here, Song Settings. When you're in here, there are integrations, and this is what you want to set up first. If you use Song Select, if you get your charts from Song Select, if you get charts or lead sheets or orchestrations or anything else from Praise Charts, and then if you get audio files from Rehearsal Mix, all three of those are separate companies, but you can set up integrations with them. So I'm not going to do that here because they're all pretty easy, and we do have a help article on each one of these, but I'm going to show you. If I wanted to set up Song Select, I just click Song Select, and this would say disabled, and then I would just click enable. All it's going to do is ask me to put in, it's going to take me to Song Select so that I can put in my Song Select name and password. That's why I'm not showing you, because you don't get to see my password, okay? So you would put in your own Song Select name and password, and then this will change to enabled. That's it. Once you do that, you'll hit done here. You can set up any of these other ones, Praise Charts or Rehearsal Mix, that you might use, and then you'll see why that's important in a minute. So after you set up your integrations, which is step one, now you're ready to add a song. So let's get started by clicking Add a Song. And it says search. Okay, awesome. Well, the song that I want to do is Who You Say I Am. So oh, there it is. I don't even have to keep typing. So first thing you'll notice here is that it is searching popular recordings. Now, if the song that you are searching for isn't in this list, maybe it's not a popular recording, it's maybe a little older, or there's not a recording of it, you can change this over to all songs. And this is going to search a different database. This is going to search CCLI's database, which has like almost every song ever written. You can also just type in the name of your own song that you wrote yourself. And if obviously that song wouldn't be in the list, so you would just go to the bottom and say create a new song, and then you would click that. But I actually do want to add the song from the popular recording by Hillsong Worship. So I'm going to stay on this popular recordings. I like this one by Hillsong. I'm not going to use any of these other ones right now. So I'm just going to click on this, and it's going to take me to the next step. Well, I got my song title. My arrangement name is the Hillsong Worship. The original key is in G flat. This is actually the key that I want to do it in as well, but my guitar players will go on strike if I ask them to play in G flat. F sharp they might like. I could change that to that. But really what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a capo for this. So we're going to play it in G flat, but I also want a capo chart in, let's say, E. So we add that, and we could add tags later. I'm not going to do that. Files. Now, because I just set up Song Select, I have those options here. That's why we did that first. So any of those integrations you set up, you'll have checkboxes. So yeah, I want to import the lyrics from Song Select, and I want to import the chord chart from Song Select. Sweet. Now we just click Submit. Planning Center is now going to create a song called Who You Say I Am. It's creating an arrangement of that song called Hillsong Worship. And because I imported it from a popular recording, it knows the length, the tempo, the beats per minute. It knows that it's in 6/8. It's got the entire song sequence. Now, if you're not doing it the same way as them, you can just click on this sequence and you can change it. It even, as you see, brought over the lyrics, and it brought over 2 chord charts. It has a chord chart in G flat and another chord chart in E that is capo 2. This is amazing. It's got everything I need already, other than maybe an audio file. But if you use Rehearsal Mix and set that up, it would even bring you in an audio file. You can also upload them yourself. I'm going to show that later though. So for now, this is kind of the easiest way to do this. So let's go back to the songs page, and let's add another song that I'm going to plan for this week. And I'm going to show you a slightly different way to do it. So when I click Add a Song, instead of just searching, look at this down here, or view a list of songs scheduled the most over the next 6 weeks by all churches who use Planning Center. View top songs. Oh, okay, this is awesome. Planning Center has over 60,000 churches that are using it. And top songs is going to look over the next couple of weeks and tell you what all the other churches are doing. What are the most popular songs that all churches are using for September 6th, which is Labor Day weekend here in the United States. So the #1 song is Waymaker. That's awesome. Okay. It's even telling me last year for Labor Day weekend, it has risen 77 spots. As you know, it's becoming more and more popular. So that's really cool. So you're going to see the popular songs here, and you can switch to other dates. But this is great. If lots of other churches are doing this, maybe it's good. I can just at least explore it. I already know the song, and I know that I want to do it. So I'm just going to click right here, and it's going to take me back to the regular flow. Search as Waymaker. I get to choose an arrangement of this. I'm going to choose the one by Mandisa. Awesome. Let's choose that. It takes me in. It puts that as my arrangement name. It knows what key. You could change it. I'm going to get my lyrics and chart again on that and submit. And now that song is created. It's importing my song select. There it is. Done. Okay. You would continue to do that. You go back to your songs page. I've got now 2 different songs in my library. You would just keep adding songs and just add the songs you're going to do for the first week. You don't have to add your entire song library. That will be overwhelming and you'll quit. So add 5, 6 songs, and then next week you can add the ones you're going to do then. And then over the course of a couple of months, you'll have all your songs in there. 2 is good for me right now. You don't want to watch me add 3 more songs. So we're going to skip to the next step. So now we're going to go back to the plans tab here where we started. And plans is where you're going to make your plans. But before you can make a plan, you actually have to set up your service type. So here it is again. Welcome to services. Before you can start planning, you need to add a service type. Well, great. That's what we want to do. So I'm going to click to add a service type, and it's going to take me through a couple of steps. So first of all, what is a service type? Well, it's a type of service that happens at your church. They usually recur weekly and are named using the main name you communicate to your congregation. So here's some examples. Like your contemporary service, traditional service, special events, high school, celebrate recovery. You can type the name of your service, like Sunday services. Or I'm just going to click contemporary service and it's going to type it for me. That was easier. This is weekly. Awesome. So let's click next to add times. My contemporary service happens at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. It's the same service, so it's all part of the contemporary service. So great. It's choosing me next Sunday automatically, because usually your church services are on Sunday, but you can change that if you want. And I'm going to say, yeah, I want this to be at 9 a.m. from 9 to 10. That seems great. Let's add another service time. And it says 10:30 to 11:30, but I'm just going to actually go from 11 to 12. Awesome. So those are my 2 service times. Great. Next, add teams. So it's asking me to add the teams that I personally lead. Well, I lead our band and the vocal team. We also have an audio-visual team, but I don't lead that team, so I'm going to let somebody else add it later so that they're set as the team leader. Or if none of these teams are exactly what your teams are, you can just totally skip this and not check any of them, and you can finish this later. I'm not going to really talk about teams the rest of this class because that's going to be our next class, but this is part of the setup process, so I'm going to check those, and now we're going to finish. Awesome. Now, it took me to the wrong place because we're in a transition period. I'm going to switch back here to show you what it would really do. So this is where it's going to take you. It's going to take you to the plan page. But we are in a transition right now. We have a new version of this plans page that we have made available to, so far, anybody who's an administrator can get to the new page. If you just signed up for Planning Center, you are an administrator, so you can get to the new page. Now, I'm going to teach the rest of this class from the new page because there's no point in teaching you the old way when the new way is here. If you are watching this class and you're not an administrator and you cannot see this little bar at the top that says a new version of the plans page is ready for a sneak peek, try it now. If you can't see that bar, just use the help question mark at the top, send our support team an email and say, can I get access to the new plans page? And they will add you and they'll let you do it even before other people from your permission level are able to get to it. So just ask us and we'll give you early access. We're probably going to be giving access to editors next week sometime, and then schedulers, and then it'll keep going. So for now, all of you administrators, if this is what you see, you want to click this button up here that says try it now, and we're going to go over to the new version of the plans page. Great. We could switch back. We can learn more, send feedback. But if you're brand new, I'm just going to teach it to you here so you don't really need any of those buttons. Okay, so we created our service type. We are in our contemporary service for September 6th. Awesome. And it made us times for 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Great. That's sort of like mostly done. We'll revisit some of that stuff later, but let's actually just get right on into planning. So there's actually two different views of the plans page. There's one where you can see the order of service, and you can actually switch over to view all of your teams here. We're not going to do that. We're just going to stay in the order because that's what we're doing. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add an item to the service. So look, no items for this plan yet. Add your first item. Yeah, let's do it. So I'm going to click right there, and a drawer pops up from the side. It's already highlighting new item, so I can just type right away. And I'm going to say, yeah, this service is going to have a message. I'm going to hit tab and going to go and tell it the message is going to be 30 minutes. And that's, I don't need a description yet for that, but I can scroll down and I can see there are different notes that we can add. And I'm just going to say, oh, who's the person that's doing the message? Pastor Allen. So Pastor Allen is doing the message. Great, you can add lots of notes there. That's all I need to do for right now. So I can just hit enter and it will dismiss, or I can click this X. Either way, I'm gonna hit enter now and it commits that and the drawer is gone. I've got my message viewing right there. You added your first item, awesome. Let's add a song. So the main add button is up here to the top right. It's big green add button. Let's click on that. And you can see we can click or we can drag. Well, I'm just going to click for right now. I want to add some songs. So let's click on song right now. And it's actually going to load our whole song library right here in this drawer. So there are the two songs that we already created, Waymaker and Who You Say I Am. Perfect. Now, there are a couple ways to do this. I can click this and then it'll add it and then add another song. But I want to add both of these. I already added them. I know that I want, if you just added 5 songs to your library, you want to add them all at the same time. So let me show you how to do that. There's 2 ways. At the top right, you can click Add Multiple, and that's going to now put check boxes next to each song name. Or you can see there's a shortcut. You can Alt-click or Option-click on a Mac. And so instead of just regular click, if I hold down Option or Alt and then click, it's going to do the same thing as clicking Add Multiple. It's going to let me add a whole bunch of songs at one point. So yeah, I want to add Waymaker and I want to add Who You Say I Am. Awesome. And you can choose any other ones that you want. And then you just click Add To, boop, and it will add them. Now what's cool is it even adds them in the order that you click them. So if you already know what order you want them in, click them in that order and it will put them at the end of your service in that exact order. Okay. I added these songs. Let's just scroll down to the bottom of this drawer, and because we already looked at the Notes tab, but you can also see there's a Files tab over here. And all the files that are added are now available. So the lyrics are available and the chord chart that we added are available. Now, if you look over here, we can actually interact with the plan while the drawer is open, which is cool. So right now I'm on Waymaker. If I click Who You Say I Am, it loads that up in the drawer. This is an improvement from the old page where you couldn't interact with both at the same time. So you can actually even click straight on how many files there are and it will jump you right to see those files so that you or your team members can access them one at a time. But this is not the best way for you to access your whole list of files. If you're just looking for just one file, this is great. Click on the file next to the exact song that you want. Awesome. But usually what you and your team are going to want to do is you're going to want to use the Rehearse button. So the Rehearse button, what that will do is it will make a songbook PDF. Instead of getting every PDF for every song at one time, you can get them all at once. And you can say, yep, I want the order of service and I want the lyrics. And then when I click accept, it's going to take all the lyric files from this thing and from this plan and compile them into one PDF. So that's great. Similarly, with the media player, I don't actually have any audio files yet, but if I did, when I click media player, it's going to now load me a playlist of the whole plan. So even though you can get to your files one song at a time, it's better to use the rehearse to get all your charts or all your audio at the same time from there. Okay, let's keep filling out our order of service so I can show you a couple of cool other things. So here for my add button, before I just clicked on song, and when you just click, it adds it to the bottom. But you don't have to add it to the bottom. I want to add some walk-in slides. This is going to happen before everything else. So instead of clicking, I'm going to drag. So I'm going to hold down item right here, and I'm going to drag it, and I can drag it anywhere that I want to. So I'm going to put this as the very first thing in my set. And right there, new item, I'm going to say walk-in slides. Hit tab. This is going to be, we're going to play them for 20 minutes before the service starts. And then during all. Well, the walk-in slides are not during all of my services. The walk-in slides actually happen before the service starts. So I'm going to choose that. I'm going to say this is before all of my services. And notice it now grays this out a little bit. The time and the title are grayed out a little bit. That is because of, well, let me show you why. So by default, you can see the length of each of your items. Notice that the total length is 39 minutes. Well, that is only including the items that are during the service. Right now, that's message, waymaker, and who you say I am. Those 3 items title 39 minutes. It's not factoring in the 20 minutes that happens before the service or anything that you put that happens after the service. So that's great. Now, another cool thing that you can do is if you don't actually care about this length column at all, there's some column options and view options for this page. So let's scroll all the way over to the top right, columns. Here are all the columns. If you don't want to see the length, you can uncheck length and that's gone. A lot of churches don't care. You just want to put your set list in and that's all. If you want to see the length, that's great. You can also see what time these items are supposed to happen at your 9 a.m. service or at your 11 a.m. service. So I'm going to click those boxes and now you see I've got a column for 9 a.m. and you can see walk-in slides happens 20 minutes before at 8:40. And then I've got all the rest of these things and now I can see exactly what time things are planned to happen. Obviously things don't always go according to plan, but it's kind of nice to be able to get an estimate of when those things are going to happen. Now, while we're here looking at these columns, we can actually turn on some other ones. So remember how we said Pastor Allen was doing the message? I can't see that, but if I turn on the person column, now I've got a column right here where I can see who's doing that. So you can enable those columns. And let's say you want to have more room to see more columns. I've got plenty of room right now, but if I didn't, I could switch from expanded view to condensed view. It makes everything a little bit smaller. You've got a lot more room for stuff. And those of you who are very detailed planners, love you guys, by the way, this will help you see more on a screen. And I'm even going to have a couple other ways to let you do that later. But I'm going to switch back to expanded view to make it easier for you to see what I'm doing from right here. Okay, the other thing is now that I'm viewing this person column, let's turn this off. You can actually type right here to click. So who's singing Waymaker? Well, Raquel is singing Waymaker. So you can just type right in there and you can add your notes as long as you can see them in the columns. Super easy to edit things right from there. Okay. Let's keep going here because there's even more cool stuff to show you. Let's add another item. Actually, before we do that, this is not in the right order. So because I added the message first, it's at the top. I don't want it top. I want it at the bottom. So let's move the message down by just clicking on this little drag handle on the very left and just drag it to the bottom of the service. Sweet. And now all these times have changed around to the time that they're going to happen now. Awesome. Let's add some baby dedications. So we're going to go up to add item. Let's move it down here in between the worship and the message. And we're going to say baby dedications. And this is going to be, let's say 5 minutes. But my baby dedications only happens this week at the 9 a.m. service. That we don't have any scheduled for 11 a.m. So we're going to have 5 extra minutes. How can we figure that out? Well, it's not during all. It's only during 9 a.m. So I'm going to uncheck 11 a.m. because the baby dedications are not happening then. And now you can see it says during 1. And now you can even see over in the left, because we're viewing all these times, it's omitted from the 11 a.m. column. And you can see the end times are now different. This ends at 44 minutes after. This ends at 39 minutes after, 5 minutes sooner. You can even print this plan later, and you can print out the 2 different times separately. And the 11 a.m. will just not even print baby dedications. Pretty cool. Okay, let's keep going. That was excluding items. And by the way, there's a shortcut to do that. If I did have baby dedications happening here, I can just hover my mouse over there and I can click include. And now it's back in that service, or I can just click right on it and exclude. And now it's gone again, and all the times update. Let's add our announcements. Okay, power user tip. This is my favorite. There are shortcut keys everywhere. So instead of going up there and clicking to add an item, I can just hit I for item on my keyboard. That automatically does it. So awesome. Yes, so now that I've got that, let's type announcements. Those are going to be wishfully thinking 3 minutes. You might put 8, 12, or 16, depending on how long your announcements go. But we're gonna like push things in the right directions here. Let's say 3 minutes. And now let's put something in the description. So I've already copied and pasted this, so you don't have to watch me type it. But my description, I'm just gonna put what my announcements are. So I've got those in my description here, and those are, as soon as I tab out of this field, they now show up on the plan. So the description actually shows up for everybody right here. So you don't want to put too many things in the description. Usually things go off better in the notes column. That way each person can choose which notes they care about. People can't choose the description. Everyone sees the description. So that's why you want to put stuff that really is for everybody in that description right there. And now I'm going to go down to person, and I'm going to say, yeah, Matt is doing that. And I hit enter, and it's going to close that bar for me, and I've got that all set. Let's add another song. Wait, another song? We only have 2 songs. Well, that's true. You can actually add brand new songs right here from the plans page. The reason we did it from the songs page is because we needed to set up those integrations first. But now that those are set up, let's just add new songs right from here. So let's click on add a song, and it's not there, but we're just gonna click new. There's nothing to search for, so instead I'm gonna click new right here, and there it is. There's that song pop-up that we had, and we're going to look for What a Beautiful Name. There it is. I'm gonna click that, and we're gonna walk through this again. All this looks great. I wanna get my lyrics and chord charts, and we're gonna hit submit. And now it added that song to my library. It linked that song to this item. You can see this item is linked to that song in the database. And because it is, it brought in all of the files. It's still downloading the other one, which is why there's only one right now. But if I refresh, the chord chart will also be there. So this is an item that is linked to a song. So it's technically a song item. And when you're adding your songs, you want to make sure that you do them like this. You don't want to just add regular items to your plan. You want to make sure that you add your songs as a song so that the files stay with the song. So when you do this song again, your files are already there. If you don't do that, and you just, let's say you just add an item, and you say, my song here. You technically can, I shouldn't have closed that. You technically have this song, and you can go to files, and you can add files to just a regular item. You don't want to do that. Do not. And that is because this is only going to add the files for this one plan ever. You can never get to those files again, and they're taking up space in your account. So you want to make sure that you always link to a song and you attach your files directly to the song. Okay? I'm going to delete this by clicking delete up here. Really? Yep. And I close that. So if you do need to add more files to a song once you get it into the plan, notice when I click files right here, there's now not an add file button, and that's because you need to go and edit the song itself. And it's really easy to do that. You can just click on the song name right here where it says linked song, and that will take you to the song page where you can then upload your file. There's a shortcut for that too, by the way. You can hold down, I believe it's the Option key, and click on the key on What a Beautiful Name. If I hold on Option and click on D, it takes me straight to that song arrangement. Oh, pro tip! You didn't know you were going to learn something there, did you? Let's go back now to there. There are lots of other shortcut keys, by the way. Just when you're on almost any page, hit type question mark on your keyboard, and an entire list of shortcuts is going to show up for you. So when you do that, you will see the different shortcuts that are available on that page. Awesome. Okie dokie. Let's see. We're almost done with our service. So let's go in and add one more item. Once again, we're going to hit I for item, and we're going to add the prayer, 3 minutes, enter. I'm going to hit I again, and we're going to, I lost my place, and, oh, nope. I got ahead of myself. Nope. I'm going to cancel out of that, and it canceled. It didn't make it. Okay, so let's just rearrange these things. We're going to put the announcements maybe after the baby dedications, the message, and then what a beautiful name, and then prayer. That's great. Okay, your service is going to be longer than this, but you don't need me to watch all of that. So let's just break this up a little bit and add some headers. So I can click Add, and let's put a header, let's say right before the worship set, and we're going to call this Worship. Enter, done. And it makes a worship header there. Let's add another header down before the message, and now we're going to call this Message, and then, oops, put it in the wrong spot. Let's drag it up right there, and I'm going to refresh because something got messed up there. And now I can drag it. Sorry about that. The message there, and then I could add another header if I wanted to in the bottom. But those headers allow you to just sort of break up the plan and see different big sections of it if you want. Okay, we've put together our first order. Our first order of service is done. Let me just walk you through a couple other things that are available on this plans page. So, at the top of the page, you see that it says Contemporary Service. Now, there's a way to have other types of titles here. Like if you use different sermon series, which my church does here. So I'm going to add other titles up here to the top. So next to Contemporary Service is a little button, a little menu, and I'm going to say, yeah, I do want to add a series up here to my title section. So I am going to type in the name of my series, Pursued, and it's searching and there are none. So I'm going to say, yeah, let's create a new series called Pursued. Awesome. And it applied it to this plan. Now I want to add some series art. So I'm going to click Add right there. And I've got it from my computer, Pursued, choose. It uploads that artwork. And now when I hit Submit, it links this plan to this series. And I've got my artwork there. It's a nice header that has a better title than just Contemporary Service. It's got the series artwork, but I also have a title for this plan. I happen to know what the pastor's message is going to be about. So I want to put that up here too. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to add a plan title, and this is Pursued by Love, and I hit enter. It accepts that. It's saved. And now I can see Contemporary Service is not really the title. It's up here in the header, but I've got my actual titles here. So we're kind of smart. Not all churches use titles. So if you don't, Contemporary Service will be the title of your plan. But if you actually do use series and plan titles, you can decide if you want to use those. Once you use them once, it's going to know that you do. And when you make new plans, there's going to be spots for those, and it's going to make it even easier for you to add those later. So those are our titles. Next up, times. So we've already got our 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. service time. But this is where you put all different types of times. Sometimes people get a little confused and they put different things like in your order of service, but your order should only have the things that are actually part of your service, not call times or when your team is going to pray and stuff like that. So instead, you add other types of times here. So I'm going to click Add next to the Times section up here. And this is not going to be a service time. It's going to be a rehearsal time. So I'm going to click on that. It's not on Sunday. It is on the Thursday before. And this is at 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And I know that the band needs to be... I didn't put a title in. Name. This is band rehearsal, and just the band needs to be there. So that I just assigned the band to that. Awesome. And you know what? I actually want to send the band a reminder. Let's say on Monday, 3 days before, on Monday, they'll automatically get a reminder. Now, if your team is the same every single week, don't set a reminder. But my team has different people, so I want to make sure that the week they're scheduled for, they're going to get a reminder. We're going to talk about this more in the scheduling class, but there we go. Save. Now I've got a rehearsal time. I'm going to open that up and see my rehearsal. I can also add an other time, and this is going to be for my call time. This is Sunday morning call, so yes, Sunday, and this is going to be at 7:30 a.m. to 8 a.m., and this is actually for the band and for the vocals and for other teams, but I haven't made those yet, so that's fine. And no reminders for that. So let's save, and now we've got our other times. So this is how you use your time section. Services, rehearsals, and other times. Okay, now you can close any of these sections here by clicking on their header. So what's especially cool is if you close all of the sections, you're going to get extra room. So when I click right up here on times, it closes that section and it even collapses the entire left-hand sidebar. So I have even more room for either the order or my teams. This is pretty awesome, especially if you are putting a lot of stuff in your plan. You can get it all back by just clicking here on times. I can see those again, or I can see my teams, or I can see files. So we're just going to skim this. Files. You kind of don't want to use this until you really know what you're doing. Most files that most people need should be attached to a song on the song page so that you can reuse them. But if you have files that are literally only for this September 6th plan and this plan only, then you can upload them here. You can add those. You would just click the add button, and you can add things like a stage layout, or you can add, maybe after the plan is over, you're totally done, you can upload the link to the YouTube that you recorded of this plan just for archive purposes. But for the most part, most people don't use this file section that much. Then we've got notes. Notes are things that pertain to the whole plan. Because you can add notes to each item in your plan, or you can add notes that are about the whole thing. So a lot of churches will, when I serve on the worship team at different churches, someone will send me out an email that has like all the band notes for every single song in it. It's awesome to send that out as an email, but it also is a good idea to actually put those right here as a band note. So this would be like my notes about all my songs. That way it's not only, people don't have to scroll back through their email to find that. They can go onto the plan and they can see that right from the notes section in the plan. There it's going to be. You can also put notes like if you have a choir. Choir's wearing blue tones this week. Awesome. Or a church I used to serve at had a special code to get in the doors before the church was open. And so they would put the door code in there. So these are notes that don't necessarily pertain to one item, but that you want to have on there. So, or anything that you're going to email out to your team, but you want to keep in a permanent spot as well. Awesome. And then the contributors section, this just shows you who has made changes to your plan. So you can see who's made changes to times. Me, that was me, and you can click and you can see I updated a time 3 minutes ago. No one's changed teams or files, but notes, I did it, order, I did it, and then the titles of the details of the plan. So this is a great way just to see kind of who's been changing things in your plan if you care about that. So that is pretty much what we have to show down there. The last thing here is printing. Once you've got your order of service, a lot of churches still, you can, by the way, you can view all this really nicely in our services mobile app that you can download for Android or iOS. It allows you to do almost all this stuff, not actually like setting things up from scratch, but all the planning things. So like setting up your order of service, you can do this all, and it looks and behaves very similarly to this. But you can print. So up here at the top right of the plan is the print box. And when you open this, there's a lot of different options. You can choose to print using the standard report, where you can just say, yep, I want to print the 9 a.m. That includes the baby dedications. And you can just choose what things you want to print on there. Or there is a way to make custom reports. We're not going to talk about that. But if you did, you can choose any of these custom reports to get really detailed with it. If you like, oh, I need my printout to look exactly like this, there are advanced ways to do that. And you can search custom reports in our help site. Okay, we've made our first plan. We did it. Good job. How do you make another one? Well, you can do it back on the main plans page. But if we're already in this plan, right here underneath, we can go if there was a previous plan, or since there is no next plan, it gives us a plus. So I can say, yeah, I want to add a new plan. And actually, I want to add like 4 plans. And I'm going to copy my times from this plan that I just made. So yeah, starting next week on the 13th. Now it would even let me choose templates, but we haven't got into that. That's going to be later. So let's just add my 4 plans. It will now add 4 plans, and it takes me into my next one. So I'm in September 13th. And remember how I said because we added series and plan title? Here it is. It's giving me a space for it now so that I don't forget to put that in. There is our next plan. And that is the basics of planning. Okay, that's setting up a new account, and we're done with setting up a new account. Now you know how to do it. So I'm going to switch over to my pre-existing account over here, and I'm going to, now I'm logged into a different church that already has some stuff in it. So now we're going to switch to talking about how to be better organized, and then we're going to talk about how to do things faster, how to be more efficient in Planning Center. So if you are brand new and you feel like that's as much as I can take for today, be done and come back and watch the rest of this video later. If you want to just kind of see the rest of the stuff that you can do, here we go. So to be better organized, the best place to do that is on the songs library. So here we are looking at songs, and we're going to go in to a song that we already have, Who You Say I Am. So I can click right up here, Who You Say, and I can search for that. I hit enter, and now it is applied a text filter. There it is. I'm going to click on that. And I have my Hillsong Worship version of this with like the full band and everything. But I actually have another arrangement that we custom did. An acoustic version of this that we do at the end of the service that's like just piano and guitar, and it's a little bit shorter. So I want to add, because that it's different, I'm going to have a different chord chart for that. So I'm going to make a new arrangement of that song. Okay, so over here on the left is where we see our arrangements. I've got my Hillsong Worship, and I'm going to click Add, and I'm going to add a new arrangement. And it's showing me other popular recordings of this, but mine is just one that I made myself. So I'm just going to title it Acoustic, and yeah, create a new arrangement, Acoustic. That's what I want. I'm going to say that this is in the key of D. And I am also going to import song select, chord charts, and lyrics. I even have bought a praise charts file. I didn't show. Praise charts is linked on this other account here, and I am going to click submit. It is going to make a new acoustic arrangement of that, and you can see it's importing from Song Select. It's also importing from Praise Charts. So as we're just standing here, its new files are going to be popping in. Now, here are all of our files, and let me just kind of talk to you real quick about why there are different boxes here. This is for organization and efficiency, actually. So arrangement. So we've got files that are for the arrangement, and then we've got files for the key. Well, let's actually add another key. So let's say add a key, and we're going to say, hey, you know what? Sometimes we do this in C, and this is the low key. You can even put a description in your key, and that sounds great. I'm not going to import any files. I'm just going to click Save. And now you can see I've got two different keys. Well, you want to make sure that your files go with the key. So my files in the key of C get put in this box. My files in the key of D get put in this box. And my files that are not specific to a key, like lyrics, I put in this arrangement box. The reason for that is when you then plan the song, when you add it to a plan, you choose which arrangement and which key, and it knows which files to bring over. So when I say, hey, this week we're doing the acoustic version in C, it's not going to bring in any files from the other arrangement. It's only going to bring in the files from the acoustic arrangement and the files from the key of C, and it's not going to put my files that are in D in there because I don't need the D files when I'm doing it in C. So that's why you have these different boxes here. Now, you can add other files, not just the ones that you add when you first create the thing. So right up here next to files, we're going to click the plus button to add more files. Now from here, we've got lots of options. You can upload your own files. You can link to files on the internet. Here's those same song select praise charts, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube. Let's actually go and let's add a YouTube clip for this. And let's say, yeah, let's do this Who You Say I Am acoustic. This is pretty close to the one I want. So let's click the plus icon here. And now I've got that YouTube link right here, and you can click on it to watch it if you want. And that will preview it right there for you. I'm going to close that down. And I've just added a YouTube file. If you have your own files, which I do, you can drag and drop them onto this page. So you can do it from this files box, but it's actually faster and more efficient to use the shortcut. So I'm going to switch over to my desktop here, and I actually have my chord chart here and an audio file here. So I'm going to click both of those, and I'm going to drag them over, and you can see I can drag them to D or to C or to the arrangement. So these are both in the key of D, so I'm going to drop them right here on D. And now it's uploading both of those files to the key of D. So I've got the acoustic version recording, audio recording, and now a chord chart in the key of D that are adding it, that are now available anytime I do this song in the key of D. Okay, there is also a way to create your own chord charts in Planning Center. Now, Song Select, when I imported the lyrics, it actually imports them as text into this lyrics and chords box right here. So when I click lyrics and chords, you're going to see, actually this came from Praise Charts because it has the chords with it. So I bought this from Praise Charts, and it's got a transposable chord chart from Praise Charts right here that you can edit. So if you wanted to add new keys in here, I could say, yeah, right here we do a G flat over B flat, and puts that there, and now it's going to update my preview over here. This is the whole chord chart editor. I don't have time to go into all this, but we do have a video on editing lyrics and chord charts. And Planning Center will then transpose this chord chart every time you make a new key automatically. So here's the lyrics and chords editor. I'm just going to go back. You can watch the separate video on that. But that's why there was already a chord chart in C when I didn't even make one, when I made a new key, because it knew, hey, we've already put a text chord chart in there. So anytime I make a new key, it transposes it, and I can see that exact chord chart in the key of C. And look, that new chord I just put, that G flat over B flat, has now been transposed to C over E. Instantly transposable chord charts. But it doesn't stop there. You can also transpose audio files. So if you use a service like Rehearsal Mix actually gives you, if you pay for that, they will give you the file in all the different keys. But if you have your own files, like I uploaded this chart in D, I can hover over this file and click the transpose icon here, or that same transpose icon is right up here in the file section, transpose audio. So I'm going to click that. Yep, here's the file that I uploaded. It's showing me all my audio files. I'm going to transpose it from D to C, and it knows that down is the best way, but I could choose up if you really want it to sound not great. And then I can hit transpose. Now it's going to say, hey, it's transposing that, and within a minute, I'm going to have a new transposed audio file in the key of C, and it's in the exact same tempo. The further away from the original key, the vocals sound a little bit chipmunky or James Earl Jones-ish. Mufasa sings Worship. But it's still great to rehearse along to. There it goes. It's done. Now I've got that in the key of C. Pretty awesome. Okay. We can also add tags to our songs. So, and our arrangements. So this acoustic version right here, tag, let's say, oh, speed. This is a medium speed song. And now it's added that. Now you can customize your tags, and we'll show you that in just a minute. But now I've got this as a medium song. So let's show filtering. How do we take advantage of all this stuff and make it easier to find songs? So let's go back to our songs index page. And because I've got this full library, it's going to be much more fun to show you filtering. So right over here on the top left, we can click filtering. And I want to find songs that start in the key of D. And now I've got only 25 songs. I can switch over to tags like I just showed you. And let's say, yeah, I just want to find worship choruses that are fast or medium. And now I've got a list of all of those songs. And there's Who You Say I Am, because I just tagged it as medium. And I've got all those different filters here at the top. So here's how the logic of that works. In between each of these filters, you can think of the word and. So I'm looking for songs that are in D and are a chorus and are fast or medium. So inside of any of these uses the word or. So it's fast or medium plus these other two things. Okay, notice these filters are in gray. That means they're temporary. That means if I go to a different page, like the media page, and then I come back to the songs page, those filters are not going to be there anymore. But there's a way to have those filters stay forever, and that's through pinned filters. So let's add our filters again. By the way, there's an F shortcut key to open the filters. And I'm going to add a tag filter for the type. I want to just find my worship choruses. And I also want to find, I've made a custom one, you might like to do this too, called season, so that I can see songs that are Christmas, Easter, or maybe patriotic. So I notice if I scroll here, there's Christmas songs. I don't want songs of a season. So I want to say songs, none. Songs with no season on them, just my regular worship choruses. I kind of want to treat this as my default list. So I'm going to pin both of these. So right up here, I'm going to click, pin, turns it yellow. Pin on season, turns that yellow. So now anytime I come into my song library, it's going to show me just these 104 songs. Then when it's time for Christmas and I'm ready to find Christmas songs, I can go season and I can say, actually, I want Christmas songs. So now I'm just seeing my Christmas worship choruses. Awesome. Super easy. And when I'm ready to switch back, I can go back to none. And now I'm back to my regular library of non-Christmas songs. Now, if you want to edit your tags, when you're filtering via tags down here, there's an edit tags button. Or you can also go to the gear up here where you do setup for your songs page, and that's where you can add your tags. There are also lots of reports up here. So if you ever have to report to CCLI, you can get your copy activity. If you are uploading your own audio files, you do need to have a license for that. Not your own, somebody else's recordings of audio files. Well, your own too, but I can't get into that. Look for copyright stuff in our help center, and that will tell you what to do. But if you do have a rehearsal license, you can get a report on that to make that easier to fill out. And then you can also see how often you're doing your songs and all that kind of stuff. So that is organizing your songs. Media, this is for things like videos, for drama scripts, for readings. If you do readings in your church, add them as a media item. You would go just like songs. You click add media, and you would give it a type, and you could say this is a document. And you would say, this is our reading on whatever it is, and then you can add a text document to that so that then you can share that and use that over and over again. Media has filters. All this works just like songs, so I'm not really going to show it to you more, but that's the purpose of media, is to put videos or any other type of file that's not a song file. If it's not a song, make it a media, and then you can share those and you can link those in your plans as well. Okay, we've got just a few more minutes to show you about efficiency. So we're going to go back to our plans tab here. And most of your plans have some elements that are the same. So rather than redoing everything every single week, you can take advantage of templates. And a template allows you to put things in that you're going to do over and over again. So I'm going to go into, I don't even know what's in this plan. Let's go into September 27th here. And, I'm going to switch over to my new view. Okay. Now what we can do is, every time my church does communion, it's in a template. It has the same sort of items in it. So when I go to add an item, instead of adding individual things, right down here at the bottom, it says import a template. That's what I want. So I'm going to import a template. Ooh, yes, here's a list of all the templates that I've made. I've got a communion template. I want to import just the items, and I want to import it just into this plan. Perfect. It looks overwhelming. This does allow you to, like if you were going to say, yeah, we're actually doing communion in September 27th and November 8th and November 29th, you can check all of those. But for now, I'm just going to put it in this one. When I submit, it's going to copy all the things from that template, and it's going to put them right here at the bottom of the plan. So I've always got these items. So where do you edit your templates? Well, you edit that from your service type settings. There's two ways to get to that. The fastest way, since I'm already in a plan, is to actually just click the name of the service type right there, contemporary service. When I click on that, it's going to take me to the contemporary service settings. And right over here is where I have my contemporary service templates. So this is where you add your templates. You would just click to add one, and it looks just like a plan. So you'll notice when I go into my communion template, it looks very similar to the plan. You just add whatever you want to be a part of your template so that you can reuse it over and over again. One thing to note, times are not in templates. So you can't put rehearsal times, service times, whatever. Times work differently. When you make a new plan, it looks at the times from last week instead of from a template. Okay, the last most important thing about efficiency is if instead of planning 1 week at a time, you want to plan a lot of weeks at a time, which I highly recommend, you want to use the matrix. The matrix is available in a couple of ways. So I can, for my contemporary service, I can click matrix right here, and I can go and it will load the next couple of plans from the contemporary service. I'm going to do it a little different way. We didn't really talk about this, but notice that I've got more than one service type now. So after you created that first service type, if you wanted to create another one for midweek or high school or Celebrate Recovery, you go back to the plans page and you just, next to service types, you click the word add, and you can add additional service types. What's cool about this is if you are responsible for planning multiple ones, so contemporary and midweek, you can actually load the matrix up here at the top in this whole folder. I can click matrix, and it's going to load with one previous plan and 3 next plans for everything in this folder. So I click matrix, and now each plan loads in its own column. So I've got, and they'll be ordered as well. So I've got midweek for October 20th, and then I've got Celebrate Recovery for December 1st. These plans are weird because they're all spread out. But you can see each plan is in its own column, so it makes it really nice to be able to see, here's the, and you can click on the X to delete any of these that you don't want. Let's say I didn't want the high school service in here. I could click on those. Or if you want to add new, you can click load a plan in the top right, and this will then let you choose. Yeah, I want some stuff from Celebrate Recovery, and then you would choose those and it would add them to the service. Then what you have in the matrix is the ability to have different rows for different sections. So here's all my series titles. Here's my plan titles. I can close this. Here is my order. So if I wanted to do some of these same things in another plan, I can drag and drop anything from plan to plan. Another really cool thing is if you have item descriptions, remember how we put our announcements in the item descriptions? Right here next to order of service at the far right, you have edit item descriptions. Click on that, and it changes this whole order view into like an Excel spreadsheet sort of view where you see the item descriptions. So all these plans that have announcements in them are going to show you those announcements right here, and you can click to edit the item description right there. Anyone that is gray doesn't have a description yet, but you can just click, or sorry, doesn't even have an announcements item. If you click right here and you type a description, it's now going to add announcements to this plan. So once you're done editing that, you can click finish, and now you're back to your plan. The last efficiency thing, I said matrix was the last, but I said most important last. Here's just one of my favorites. It's the fastest way to get around Planning Center, and that is through the universal search box. So when you click this magnifying glass up here, or you just hit the / key by the question mark, it's going to open that box, and you can type almost anything. I can type band to go right to my band. I can go who you say I am, and right there it's already selected, enter. That search is on any page. So now I'm on that song, I can click here and I can go to another song, All My Fountains right there, or to a person. It's just going to skip you around using that universal search. Okay, that's all I have time to show you, but I'm going to tell you about 3 more things that you might want to look up on your own. These are a little bit more advanced. 1, attachment types. If your church has a lot of files, like you have an orchestra or a choir, and so for every song, just like this, you've got, bass, guitar, flute, piano, clarinet. You don't want your users to have to be sorting through all the files just to find their one file. So you want to take advantage of a feature called attachment types, and that will let you hide files for people so that people only see the files that they want. If you want to learn about that, you click the question mark up here, and you would type attachment types into, if you just type attachment, the first thing that's going to come up is attachment types. There's a video that shows you how to do that. The next thing is services live. So most of what we've been doing has been planning the service ahead of time. Well, once it's actually time to do your service, we have a tool that helps you run your service, almost like a teleprompter for the service. So from a plan, from your order, you can go into this little menu right here, and there's services live. By the way, you can click here to learn more about it and watch the video, but I can go into live, and this is going to take me through each item in the service as we go, and it's going to update it on everybody's screen so that I click start, and now we're on the walk-in slides, and the welcome is up next. And hey, now it's time to start the service. I click next, and now it's on the welcome. So service is live. We've got a great video that shows you an overview of that. There's so many powerful features in that. It's awesome. And the last thing is Planning Center Music Stand. If you have tablets, you can make all the planning that you've done. You can now open the same plan in a different app on iPad or Android called Music Stand, so that your team members can see their music, they can scroll through the pages, they can even tap on a foot pedal to wirelessly turn pages. They can write notes on their music, and it saves them to their profile so that when they go and load that song again 3 weeks from now, their notes are still there. They can share notes with other people. They can listen to the files. So much good stuff. We also have videos and articles on Planning Center Music Stand. It is an additional fee onto your account, but just check out Planning Center Music Stand and you'll find out more about that. So that is all the time we have for today. I hope that was really helpful for you. If you enjoyed this, make sure you share this with somebody else on your team, or like I said, search this help documentation to learn how to do anything else, or come back on Thursday, or if you come back way later than this, it's already recorded, watch our other class for Planning Center Services on Teams and scheduling. But for right now, you can view the previous one and look at any of the rest of our classes from planningcenter.com/university.